Hey, Morgan Ledger here, and I am more than welcome to provide you a special inside sneak peek into what to expect for Season 11 of Vaulting. Keeping in with the whole idea of theme seasons, this year we're going to go in a more different route that's a little more close to my heart. We're going to be examining a lot of 1980s fantasy movies. This is something that I've planned for quite some time. I always want to dive into the history, as well as looking into a couple of titles here and there that shaped up the fantasy genre. The 1980s was an interesting time period because even though not a lot of studios were invested in the fantasy genre, you still had some filmmakers that were still trying to do something after so many movies like Jaws, Star Wars provided the plateau of what could be done with special effects to bring audiences to fantastical new worlds, amazing creatures. And we discussed some of those in the past, like Dragon Slayer, but in a sort of a sense, what you're getting here is another inside look chapter into what that was like back then. We'll be discussing movies like Excalibur, The Neverending Story, a couple of classics in between, as well as celebrate a couple of anniversaries like Ghostbusters, and maybe one or two underrated movies that you might not have heard of that played a very big important part into the fantasy genre, like The Sword and the Sorcerer. The fantasy genre is something I've grown up with for quite a long time, ever since I was a kid. In fact, for those who know me very, very well, my all time favorite movie is The Dark Crystal, so it means a great deal to look deeply into these movies to see exactly how they got made, what impact they left upon other studios, especially for other movies that we have today now, like Lord of the Rings and many, many others. And on the side, you'll still get a couple of Patreon requests here and there. There's already one or two that I wish I could spoil and talk about, but to be honest, I'd rather keep them as surprises. In keeping with the Patreon membership that I have, those who join my website not only get to have their flick pick used for this season, but also future others as well. So it's not just a one-time deal. You also get to, in a way, kind of control the show in a sense with whatever movie you want to get requested to see covered and analyzed on the show. Certain limits do apply, but that's just sort of a rough idea of how things go around here. And I noticed, given how I'm doing well in subscribers, I have a small little challenge. Given how I'm close getting to 1,000, if, and I do mean if, I reach 1K subscribers at least before August, season 11 will end with not just one, but two movie reviews of films that came out in 2023. I've already picked them out. I'm going to keep them under wraps for the time being. I've already had a lot of people provide suggestions and guesses, and to be honest, I'd rather keep them under wraps for the time being because I think it's more interesting to surprise you with that. So if I make it to 1,000 subscribers before August, I will review those two movies in January as like the two season finale episodes for season 11. And if I don't, I'll go straight into the 94 holiday movie review. At least there's a lot of titles I'm looking forward to discussing on those specials. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this year. There's already a couple of episodes that I filmed in advance that you can view on my Patreon page. The first episode you're going to see premiering this Friday is one on the Sinbad trilogy. I feel it's a nice little precursor to dig into what it was like before the fantasy genre took high stride in the 1980s. So you can kind of get an idea what movies were like before the big boom in the 1980s with fantasy films. Sort of basically what studios were seeking and looking for, what they were striving to do with some of the new special effects and filmmaking techniques they had. And then afterwards, there's going to be a review slash tribute to Superman the movie, which is by far one of the most heartfelt episodes I've ever done. I'm so looking forward to throwing that out there. And then all the way from May to December, it's going to be somewhere between 3 to 4 episodes a month. There's going to be a lot of surprises, a lot of ventures, and not to mention, this coming summer we have the 200 episode of Vaulting. Can you believe it? It's been over 15 years, and here I am reaching this big, big milestone. I'm tempted to reveal what the title is. I think I've hinted it before in the past, so you can kind of already have a little bit of idea of what it is. I've mentioned it before once or twice, and if you know it, you know it. And if it's not what you think it is, I'm going to keep it quiet for the time being. But I'm so looking forward to this season. It's definitely going to be a different change of pace from last year. It's going to be something so much more close to my heart. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. There's a lot of movies I'm looking forward to covering, and it was really tough trying to narrow down which ones to pick and which ones to do, because some of them cross over into the genre of science fiction, so there had to be certain limitations here and there, and given next year we're going to do some sci-fi movies as well, things like, say, Flight of the Navigator or Back to the Future had sort of are more science fiction based. So if they don't get covered this season, chances are they might get covered next season. But we'll play it by ear as we go along. Right now, I'm more than excited to bring unto you this massive mammoth excursion into an interesting plateau of movies you're about to endure. We're talking about dreams realized, adaptations of books that authors are not too pleased about, but for the most part, I'm definitely excited to see what's going to come of this, and I hope you are as well. With that said, I can't thank you enough for watching and supporting the show. I'm definitely looking forward to what's upcoming. In the meantime, sit tight, be patient. The first episode drops this Friday. I hope you'll be there to see the fun we're about to endure this year. And with that, I welcome you into Season 11 of Vaulting, the 1980s Flight of Fantasy season.